Good afternoon. Well, I got to tell you, I'm so honored to be here, to be back. I got to tell you guys, I was at the Richmond Tea Party earlier this year, and I've been around the country since the first Tea Party here last year. And this is where you guys got to take a lot of credit for what's going on around this country right now. Give yourselves a round of applause. Everybody is watching New Jersey, and it's not just because of Snooki. We're making the tough decisions right now. Governor Christie, the only guy out there that I've seen who has guts. You know, I've been real busy the last couple of weeks. I filled in on the Fox Business Channel every night for Neil Cavuto this week. Yeah, I hope some of you guys watch. And I got a chance to interview a lot of politicians. And golly, when you interview these politicians, and it's so frightening, A, what they don't know, and B, what they want to do. And a lot of them still don't get it. And initially we saw really this across the spectrum. If you remember, it wasn't too long ago when Jim Bunning was the only one who said we can't extend unemployment benefits unless we pay for it. He was demonized and they turned him into a villain. Now everyone is starting to get on board, at least in his party, but still, there's a tremendous amount of work to be done. Another thing that I heard a lot this week and that you're going to be hearing is the idea of a double dip recession. Which to me, it's like a misnomer. It doesn't make sense that you have a double dip because that means you had a dip and you came out of it. We never really came out of the first dip, so that's kind of a silly notion, the double dip recession. But what's not silly is the fact that too many people are now starting to give up. Too many people are now just losing faith. And I understand why they're losing faith, but it's also very dangerous because a lot of what's going to happen to us in this country is going to be self-fulfilling. Now, the unfortunate part is the president hasn't gotten the message, and I don't think he will. And that's the real scary part of this whole thing, because around the world, people are taking the right measures. Some of the things I've seen in the last couple of months around the world have been fascinating. I mean, they really have blown my mind. Countries that have been socialist for decades finally saying, you know what, we might have to try this thing called capitalism and free markets just a little bit. These socialist nations are running out of a burning building and only one country is running into it. It really boggles the mind. It really does. Hungary. I mean, think about it. These countries. Chile voted in a capitalist. The Ukraine voted in a capitalist. And that was hard because he was running against the most beautiful politician I think I've ever seen. So, we're the only ones running into this burning building. And what's happening is a lot of people have started to just give up again. They feel like we're just going to have to go in there and get crushed and take this so-called double dip in this economy. I don't think we have to. A lot of what's going on around the country and around the world started right here in Morristown. So it's incredible that you guys are out here again to keep up the fight. Because the fight is a long way from being over. Even though the proof is there, we see Greece falling into the ocean. Spain, Portugal. 3 weeks ago, there was an election in the Netherlands. In Belgium. It didn't get a lot of press here, but I thought it was fascinating. Because the Separatist Party won the most seats. And what did the Separatist Party want? Less government spending. far where we have to split this into two countries? Just think, the way Belgium is set up, in the north you have Flanders, and in the south you have Wallonia, which is the French speakers. In the south, where the French speakers are, that used to be the elite, or the elitists. You know, it was an industrialized place. They made all the steel and things like that. And of course, they made all the rules. Well, as time is going on, the more industrious north started to scratch their head because, you know what? These guys in the south are like 33% of the population, but 60% of the welfare payments. They're 33% of the population, but 20% of GDP. They're 30% of the population, but only 10% of our exports. We could be a much better country if everybody was working. Novel idea. It's starting to make its way around the world, isn't it? They said, you know what? Just like all human beings, we all want to help our fellow human being out. I mean, I think that's universal and certainly an American trait, and one of the reasons we became the greatest country in the world. But we also understand that you don't help someone by giving them everything and not letting them work for some things. We understand that. And if you start to talk about a shared sacrifice, make sure it really is a shared sacrifice. Because we're going down a path in this country that's going to be ugly. You cannot take money from taxpayers and say, I'm going to bolster the government, make it huge and gigantic, and only make sure that people in unions get paid. Union workers are making $36 an hour, benefits and everything. Non-union workers are making $27 an hour. How much longer will it be that your next door neighbor, you're going to watch this person retire 10 years before you did? Not only did they make more money than you did, but you're supplementing their retirement. I mean, this is the path that we're heading down, and that's what's really very scary. But even before we get there, it's this notion that they want another shot. They want to do it all again. Let's do this stimulus thing one more time because obviously it worked so well the first time. Let's spend your taxpayer dollars on puberty research because that creates jobs. Sperm research is a great job creator. Didn't you know that? You didn't know that, huh? So we're going to have a couple of things that we're looking down here. They're going to really push really hard for more spending. Obviously, there's been some pushback, but I think anyone who gets complacent right now or anyone that gives up right now is making a real big mistake. There's no doubt in the world that the Tea Party movement, not only has the Tea Party movement echoed here in America, it's echoed around the world. Countries are listening. You got to think for a minute that what happened here in Morristown last year did not have an impact in the elections in the United Kingdom because it did. It really did. But they are fighting back because it's too much power. They cannot give it up. They cannot give it up. Yesterday we had the jobs report, or we should almost call it a lack of jobs report. And the president spoke about it. Among the other things that he said that really was offensive was that we're heading in the right direction. Yeah. There's going to come a point where you can insult people's intelligence, but so much. There's going to come a point where you're going to tell people things are great and they know they're not great. We've got 7 million people in this country who've been chronically unemployed. What that means, they've been unemployed 27 weeks or longer. By far the largest ever. I think previously the record might have been 3 million. And the needle is not moving. So what we've actually are creating is a permanent underclass. And these are people that are formerly very proud, hard-working Americans. And after 1, 2, 3 years of unemployment benefits, no training, and no hope,